Viewers, welcome back. Tonight, I can tell you that a number of Lutyens media will come out and tell you that things are not as they appear. They will lead you up the garden path, don't you fall for it. They will tell you how the I-20 driver, Muhammad Umar, they will say, the man in the middle of your screens, viewers, never intended to trigger the blast. It was accidental. That he panicked. But as I told you, viewers, the facts are not going to add up. Because there are some basic questions. If it was accidental, why did Muhammad drive his car from Faridabad all the way in the morning, 7 in the morning, and we are tracing the journey of that vehicle, viewers, through CCTV and bring it right to the Red Fort? Why is it that he sat in the vehicle for 3 hours, counting down the hours, so it would have been, viewers, maximum traffic commuter presence time or rush hour, and then trigger the blast, viewers, at 6:57 in the evening? Viewers, the fact is, and tonight we're going to ask the tough questions. We're not going to run away. I'm not going to be somebody, viewers, who's going to manage the headlines. No, we are not going to do that, viewers. You see, there have been certain problems with the way we have gone about this, viewers. On May 10th, 2025, and I'll take you all the way back to May 10th, 2025, 6 months exactly to the date from yesterday, when, viewers, India and Pakistan decided to cease hostilities. India assumed Pakistan was done fighting. After 4 days of relentless pounding under Operation Sindoor, Pakistan's Director General of Military Operations picked up the hotline to New Delhi and pleaded for a ceasefire. India obliged. The consensus in Delhi's military and strategic circles was simple: the Pahalgam carnage had been avenged and a new level of deterrence imposed. But clearly, viewers, New Delhi got it wrong. Exactly 6 months later, Pakistan's state-patronized terror organization, the Jaish-e-Mohammad, struck back. This time not in Kashmir, but in the very heart of the national capital, barely meters from the Red Fort, telling you, viewers, that it can strike you anywhere, even nearabouts or the nearest vicinity to India's most hallowed symbol of sovereignty, where the national flag is flown on Independence Day. Viewers, the Jaish had vowed revenge for India's airstrikes on its Bahawalpur headquarters, strikes that eliminated relatives of Masood Azhar, the terror outfit's chief. These warnings were continuously coming. Just about a month ago, viewers, they even said that they were going to recruit women Fidain to carry out the attacks. And that woman in the middle of your screens, viewers, is a living example of the person who responded to that call. I want to ask you, viewers, yes, we were able to anticipate a much larger attack, but could we not have stopped the Red Fort attack, viewers? In cold blood, the Jaish has spilled Indian blood in Delhi, in India's capital. Preliminary investigations point to 4 doctors radicalized and recruited by a Srinagar-based Islamist cleric, yes, linked to the Jaish. Let no one tell you, viewers, that there is no religious dimension to this. Let's call it out for what it is. If there wasn't one, viewers, why would an Islamic cleric be the link? Why would he be indoctrinating? And who did he end up indoctrinating, viewers? 3 doctors from Pulwama, the hotbed of terrorism. The 4th, a woman, Dr. Shahina, their handler. The bridge between the terror network and the recruits working at a Faridabad hospital is no incidental accomplice, viewers. As I told you, the Jaish-e-Mohammad has been pointingly saying that they're going to recruit female cadre. And they've done it, viewers. She's supposed to be the Jaish-e-Mohammad's chief on Indian soil, and I'm sure there are others who have been indoctrinated. Here is how it played out, viewers. In mid-October, Jaish posters emerge in Naugam. So they were announcing that you have to do certain things to prove your loyalty to us. Few days later, 3 OGWs are arrested in Jammu and Kashmir. The end of October, Maulvi Irfan Ahmed is quizzed. And it turns out, viewers, that he had recruited these OGWs to start this campaign, and that he was also in talks with these doctors. November 1st week, Suspect Zamir Ahangar is questioned. Dr. Adil reveals the plot after grilling by the police. Few days later, Faridabad module is exposed. On November 9, 2,900 kilograms of explosive materials is seized. Viewers, that news comes out. It is leaked immediately to the press. Should it have been? Viewers, had care been taken not to leak this, perhaps today, that man in the middle of your screens that I just pointed you out to, viewers, that I-20 driver would not have come all the way into the heart of Delhi to carry out that blast. On November 10th, 2 doctors, including Dr. Shaheen Shahid, are held. Again, viewers, again, we don't press the advantage. On November 10th, bomber Dr. Umar escapes amid a crackdown. Viewers, if he had escaped amid a crackdown and the security forces knew, and he was traveling in an I-20, CCTV footage could easily have been examined because he left Falah University or whatever it's called, Falah Al-Falah, whatever it's called, viewers. It will easily be traced. November 10th, the blast happens. November 10th, I-20 used is linked to Pulwama. Make no mistake, this wasn't a lone wolf plot. It was a Jaish operation through and through, viewers. The blast is carried out by Faridabad module linked to the Jaish-e-Mohammad. Faridabad module busted after probe into Jaish posters in Srinagar. The links are too clear. Car bombing is a speciality of the Jaish-e-Mohammad terror group. It's their signature move. Jaish had vowed vengeance after India's Operation Sindoor. Anyone who had any sense would have kept an eye on the Jaish and their sympathizers and these OGWs and these sleeper cells, viewers, which means, viewers, since the Jaish is involved, means that Pakistan's deep state is far from deterred by Operation Sindoor. This isn't just terror, it's a deliberate provocation, an act of war. Why would a humbled Pakistan feel emboldened so soon after being battered? 3 reasons. 1, US sanctions under the Trump administration have tightened economic pressure in India, and Pakistan seems to be knowing this. It feels that perhaps Delhi's appetite for a costly conflict is resumed. Is it because Pakistan military has quietly rebuilt ties with Washington? Viewers, Islamabad now thinks that even if India were to retaliate anywhere down the line, America will quickly jump in on its side. Islamabad thinks India is boxed in, that Modi won't risk escalation. And here one wants to know why no one from the Indian government has yet named Pakistan. So far, the Prime Minister has vowed revenge but hasn't named Pakistan. Viewers, listen into this. This is Prime Minister Modi today in Bhutan.
इस घटना की जांच में जुटी सभी एजेंसियों के साथ, सभी महत्वपूर्ण लोगों के साथ संपर्क में था, विचार विमर्श चलता था, जानकारियों के तार जोड़े जा रहे थे। हमारी एजेंसियां इस षड्यंत्र की तह तक जाएगी। इसके पीछे के षड्यंत्रकारियों को बख्शा नहीं जाएगा। All those responsible will be brought to justice.
All those responsible will be brought to justice. Will the NDA build a case specifically against Pakistan over the next few days? The NDA has built its reputation, viewers, on strength and security. Now it will be judged by its response. Weakness, let me tell you, is not an option. I want to open this up, viewers. I want to ask some basic questions tonight, and let's basically have an open, honest conversation. SP Vaid, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir, is here with us. Let me begin with him. Major Arya, General Dhillon. I mean, our panel is replete with experience. Major Jolly, and of course, Lieutenant General D.P. Pandey, men of great experience. These are people who have fought and looked militancy straight in the eye, viewers, and they know exactly what Islamist terrorism is about. We'll come to that. We'll come to the religious dimension. We'll come to the indoctrination. We'll come to all of that. But I just want to ask some basic questions. First of General Dhillon. General Saab, fundamental question tonight. Is this an act of war?
Rahul, good evening and good evening to all the fellow panelists, all very dear friends, and to your viewers. See, as per the counter-terror doctrine which was declared publicly after Operation Sindoor. It was told in no unclear terms, any act of terror against India on Indian soil, against Indian citizens will be treated as an act of war. And by that definition, yes, if there is a hostile country, that is Pakistan, and the links go up to Pakistan, it will be considered as an act of war on the Indian soil. And the point which you are making, a bigger point, as to why these people were able to escape and why we were too early to go and announce the seizure of that explosive around 3,000 kgs and other weapons and detonators and remote control devices. I think that was absolutely kiddish and childish. This shouldn't have happened. When you have such a big module and you capture such a sophisticated and such sensitive equipment and ammunition and explosives, you don't go to town straight away. You first of all carry out an investigation, interrogation of the people who have been apprehended. You go out and do the technical intelligence, electronic intelligence, social media intelligence, internet intelligence, human intelligence, and interrogation. And then you pick up their electronic devices, you pick up which are apps that they're using, what are the chatter on the electronic devices in WhatsApp and Telegram and other channels and all. And then you find out who are the people and connect with them. And after all the parties have gone and apprehended all those people, then you have a very considered press conference by responsible people to say, yes, this is what we have achieved. Now, the raid is still going on and the details are coming out in the media and someone is trying to take credit and this and that. I think that was absolutely unprofessional.
Unprofessional. So it's an act of war because you've made that part of your military doctrine, said General Dillon. And secondly, you shouldn't have jumped the gun. You should have kept quiet. You should have allowed the intelligence authorities to do their thing. You should never have led a situation where others in the network got alerted, so they started running helter-skelter, etc., trying to evade you. And that's the mistake. That's a principal mistake. SP Vaid Saab, former DGP Jammu and Kashmir, this particular mistake, do you think it's the costliest mistake? Do you think it's a problem? Do you think the others now are going to go underground? We don't even know anymore. Because if the moment you say that, oh, there is an OGW 50 human rights group, people will jump down your throat and say that you're being selective, that you are some sort of an Islamist, Islamophobic individual, this, that, the other. They'll start putting labels on us. So you can't even basically now call out anybody who stands in the middle of the road and says, I want to bomb India, break it up. No, we can't. People will go and represent them in court also. SP Vaid Saab, what is going on here?
Good evening, Rahul. Good evening to my dear colleagues, my co-panelists and your viewers. I completely agree with General Dillon. In fact, the professional way would have been to take in the complete network, all people involved in this module, including their associates, including all the recoveries which are required to be made, their interrogation. Only then you go to the press so that no one escapes your sweep. And I see no purpose in rushing to the press. In fact, that should be the last thing to be done. And you should have initially covered all the people who are involved in this module, including their associates in Kashmir Valley, associates in other parts, whether it is Lucknow, Saharanpur, Faridabad and Delhi. And if that was done, this unfortunate incident of last evening at the Red Fort would not have happened, because this Dr. Mohammed would have been actually taken into custody along with his vehicle and the explosive material, if that was followed. I don't know why that was not done. I don't know that part, those details. But I think rushing to the press was not an advice move. That is what I, from my own personal experience, feel it should not have been done. Yes.
Well, should heads roll? Who's going to take responsibility, viewers? Those are fundamental questions. I'll come back to that. I want to bring in General Pandey. General Pandey, why did Pakistan's deep state think within 6 months? Remember, this particular cessation of hostilities happens on the 10th of May. Exactly 6 months almost to the date. 10th of November, these Pakistanis decide to provoke India in this way. So I want to ask you, did Operation Sindoor fail as a deterrent?
Yeah. So I think you are asking a very moot question that does conventional response can actually stop terror acts? So I can only just, this is my view, and which I have stated, I think, on your channel multiple times, that conventional response is a punishment which is being given for not only the terror network and also others, right? It can only delay, it can only stall for a period of time, but a conventional response can never, ever. Let's go back to history very quickly. Americans have responded multiple times through conventional means. Has the terror attacks stopped from a variety of elements across the world? I don't think so. Should we not respond? Yes, we must continue to punish. For
no,
each act,
I just want you to roll back that. No, General Saab, I want to first understand, why is Pakistan daring us again? They know that we inflicted a lot of damage. Let's be honest. I mean, no one can run away from the stellar show of our armed forces. I mean, we completely made it difficult for them.
Correct. There is a compulsion, right? Yeah. I just look at the timelines, and how things have happened. Uri happened 2016. There's a gap of about 5 years. We had another attack in Pulwama after a couple of years. Then Balakot happened. There was still a larger gap, when we had the recent Pahalgam. But what has changed in geopolitical environment in the region is what we need to look at it. I think a shift of Americans towards Pakistan as a geostrategic proxy, back again for whatever interest they have realized was required to benefit either the leader or the deep state by engaging with Pakistan, is one very, very important reasons. So while we may like to take out the policemen or everybody who was responsible for releasing the information, I think we need to take this responsibility to the doorsteps of the Americans, who has allowed this empowerment of a very, very known radical called Asim Munir and his stooges to start doing what they have been doing in last about a year, right? And it is not 6 months game. It has taken about a year for the situation which has come about now. And I can assure you again on this channel, it is only going to go to worsen, because Asif, the condition of Pakistan is such today that it is fractured from within, it is fractured from outside. But this empowerment, enablement which is happening, the shift which has happened towards America, allows them that handle to continue to perpetuate their proxies outside. So Afghanistan will continue to get hit, and we are also going to get targeted.
Okay,
but
so I mean, we'll talk about the response.
Matter.
What will be a suitable response to, again, enforce deterrence? I'll come to that. But Major Arya, do you concur? Do you believe that the Pakistanis believe that India's hands are tied for a variety of reasons that I've already spelt out, and that they can do what they want to, that's emboldened them, and that we have no recourse?
Thank you, Rahul, for calling me, and good evening to all our panelists and viewers. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what the LET commander, Saifullah Saif, said in Pakistani Punjab 3 days back, though he was speaking about Hafiz Saeed and how Hafiz Saeed is going to conduct operations inside India through Bangladesh. But the underlying factor there in his speech was that, the Americans are on our side and this is the right time to hit India. So this is the belief that Pakistan is functioning with. And coming to your second part of what you discussed with both General Dhillon and General Pandey also, and Mr. Ved, I think what we need to do is constant and consistent pressure on Pakistan. When we say whole of government approach, constant diplomatic, constant economic, and constant military pressure on Pakistan, we took our feet off the pedal after 10th of May. Also diplomatically, I'm not just talking about the military part. There wasn't this diplomatic onslaught on Pakistan, this economic damage caused to Pakistan. So when Donald Trump calls Asim Munir for lunch, suddenly Asim Munir becomes Teflon coated. and he becomes a field marshal and all of you see all these things are aligned, and this is how the Pakistani establishment thinks. And you have two former GOC 15 corps here, and you have also the former DGP of J&K Police, and they'll bear me out when I say this, that you mentioned that, and in fact General Dhillon very rightly said that people want to take this kudos that we have solved this case, and ammonium nitrate 2,900 kgs and all that. There is the Valley model. General Dhillon has spoken to me about it, General Pandey has spoken to me about it, and Mr. Vaid has spoken to me about it. What happens in the Kashmir Valley in 15 Corps area between the police, army and the CRPF is there is no grab for glory. There is an understanding that all of us are fighting for India. It doesn't matter who gets the glory. So normally in the press brief, it's always security forces. And, nobody cares as long as India wins. Army doesn't care, police doesn't care, CRPF doesn't care as long as India wins. And that is happening in 15 Corps, which is why it's so successful.
Major Jolly, do you believe that we took the foot off the pedal, as Major Arya is suggesting? There was even cricket viewers, cricket diplomacy with these rascals. We were playing T20 matches with these rascals. We were going out there, viewers, and turning this into a charade. It's not the way, is it?
Thanks, Rahul, and good evening to all my seniors on the panel. I'd say I totally agree with what Major Arya said. We definitely, and it is in us. It is in our style. We do tend to get complacent the moment things settle down a little. We think Pakistan has been put in its place because we had a certain military victory, and we tend to take easy and we focus on the local terrorism within the valley.
No, so are you saying now, now that we've scored some own goals, that our hands are tight, that we are in a bit of a corner, and Pakistan has sensed this?
Yeah, definitely. Somebody should have noted down that Pahalgam was not in isolation. What happened today, the Faridabad cache was not built in 3 months. When Pahalgam was started, it means the infrastructure was in place to carry out. It means the mental will of Asim Munir was there to carry out more terror strike. A lag came because we started Operation Sindoor. Otherwise, they were all set to go for more terror attacks. Now that we have calmed down, now that we got complacent, they're starting again. This was accidental. It may not have started now, maybe a month later. But the infrastructure and radicalization does not happen in a couple of months. This would have been going on for a year plus. And that means they were getting ready for this in spite of us saying we are secure. So when Operation Sindoor stopped, all our focus should have gone on Pahalgam, that why did this happen? We actually stopped looking for that and started again focusing on that. And finally, you are right in saying that when we gave statement that each terror act is an act of war, Pakistan has suddenly made a move on the chessboard and they said, here is act of terror. Now tell us what will you do? So yes, they have put in a spot.
Yeah, every act of terror will be considered an act of war. So Pakistan has called our bluff. And General Dhillon, what should India do now? Should we just sit around and hope that this blows over, that the opposition, everybody goes to sleep, that time passes and we get distracted by another election victory, election result, what have you? What should we do? How should we respond?
Rahul, in a democracy, in a practicing democracy, elections will come, elections will go. Victories will happen, election victories will happen, election defeats will happen. But the government is there to govern. Political parties will keep contesting elections. That's a very good thing, and it must happen in a practicing democracy. Now here, what needs to be done is, as Major Arya was saying, General Pandey was saying, we need to hit the Punjabi Pakistani Muslims' pride. That has to be destroyed. That फन्ने खां attitude of his, कि मैंने ये कर दिया, भी आप बताओ क्या कर सकते हो. And the ways and means of destroying that pride. जैसे पहलवान नहीं है, नाक खाड़े की मिट्टी में रगड़ता है. That has to be done, and so that their own people understand that this can be done in more than one ways. And what Major Jolly was also saying, we need to be very clear. We cannot just let go. Okay, हो गया, कोई बात नहीं, होता है, छोटा सा था, बड़ा था. This is not the way to handle terrorism. There is a specific team which will be looking at this, and that team's focus should be very clear. how to achieve our aim of destroying that Punjabi Pakistani Muslimans will to
So how
carry
do we
out
do
this
it?
again and again and again.
General Dhillon, many people have said that that's the real problem, that they themselves are facing backlash. This Punjabi sort of privileged class in Pakistan is reviled, is hated. But how do we turn the rest of the country on them? How do we isolate them? How do we take them out? What is the next step? Because, do we do exactly what we did in Operation Sindoor last time over? And then have somebody else come in, or perhaps just stop because someone picks up a phone and says, "Bhai, ho gaya ji, thank you very much"?
Rahul, there are ways of doing things, and there are ways of how much violence you want to create, what level you want to achieve, and what all resources you want to utilize for carrying out an operation or achieve your aim. So it is not a must that we repeat the previous thing, and it is also not a must that we do not repeat the previous thing. We can do either, but at the time and place of own choosing, keeping the confidentiality of our plans in place.
General
So there are more
Pandey?
than one ways of doing it.
Okay.
We just had a Tri-Shakti exercise in the area of Sar Creek and Arabian Sea and Cholistan Desert.
Yeah.
So that exercise itself gives out, at least the military men sitting on the panel will understand, at least 20 options of doing things which will hurt Pakistan.
Do you
It will
think,
hurt him
General
politically,
Pandey, there is...
It will hurt him militarily, it will hurt him economically.
There is
So
will...
there are ways and means of doing it.
Okay, so now it comes down to, if there are various means, I don't want to really reveal any means and methodologies, etc. But I want to ask you, General Pandey, obviously all of this requires will. We have not even named Pakistan. Are you surprised that we have not named Pakistan? I remember in previous instances, even smaller blasts, etc., immediately within 24 hours, somebody from the ruling establishment would have come out and said that, look, yes, there is definitely Pak-supported... the Jaish is a creature of the Pakistani establishment. The Pakistani armed forces, their generals were standing with grieving Jaish commanders after we struck them. So, what is the ambiguity?
Yeah, I think, just let me put in some alternate point of views, okay? Like when you say punishment, the pressure has been taken off, I don't think so. Number of other means are already on, which are visible to us. You just can't keep on pounding somebody who's already pounded from within and from outside. There are other actions which are already on play, which we need not discuss on this thing. And you, Rahul, you are quite well aware of it. So one is pressure is on, right? I think General Dhillon has articulated pretty obliquely about what is happening. Second is, is truly our hands tied? Do you think that Americans have tied our hands? I don't think so, right? Just because Trump is claiming all over the place that ceasefire was brought in by him, I don't think so. Our government is continuing to put pressure in multiple ways. The only place I really want to agree is diplomatically we have.
No, sir, I'm asking you, General Pandey Sahab, I have to ask you this question. Look, there was a huge debate on when operations ceased, at least military operations. I'm talking about direct action on Pakistan on the 10th of May. Many people said we could have pressed it a little longer. I remember General Bakshi and many others here on this show said that perhaps we should not have agreed. We should have at least kept them stewing for a few more days, 48 hours, 72 hours. Maybe we could have even undertaken some other actions. So am I asking you now, it's a fundamental question, do you think we should have stopped when we did?
Yes, I totally think that we should have stopped when we stopped. There is a limit when you are trying to push a country to behave, which is unwilling to behave. I can assure you, Rahul and the panelists here, the Americans, the Pakistanis, the Chinese want us to get embroiled into a full-fledged
that might be so. See, that's the problem. So now the point is...
Rahul, when we talk of domains of warfare, there are a number of domains which are there on the plate, and I watch number of those domains being pressurized and used today by the government of India. I'm not supporting here. I don't have a...
I know that you're not, but it doesn't seem to be altering Pakistan's behavior, or at least the core of the military establishment's behavior. They wouldn't have done this, sir, had they felt that India was no longer interested in enforcing deterrence. There is obviously something that has happened. Something has snapped.
The day Asim Munir gets stabilized and gets comfortable in his zone, right, that is the time possibly things will start happening differently.
Okay. Major Arya?
And we must...
Let me bring him in.
continue to push that Asim Munir doesn't this thing, and they can continue to get exposed. This event which has happened, sad, but continues to expose the nexus which is there between Pakistan, Asim Munir, and the radicals there.
Okay. Let me push this. Let me push this a little further with Major Arya. Major Arya, what is it that we can do short of what we've done earlier, or perhaps even more than what we've done earlier? And I'm just talking about 6 months, almost to the date.
Rahul, thank you for that question. I don't know how this can be done, but one thing, General KJS Dhillon sir mentioned about the Pakistani Punjabi Mussalman. What he really fears is loss of territory. This is a trauma that they can never get over, because there in that part, even in North India, so many places, land means pride. Land is everything. You have Vaderas, you have Zamindars, people who are respected. Socially, land is very, very important. It's your identity. Unless Pakistanis lose land, they are not going to. You see, it doesn't matter. The same thing happened when Valley erupted. When the Valley erupted, the same thing happened. Why did it happen? Because there were external factors. India was embroiled already in Operation Pawan. There were a series of these central governments in India that were, wobbly. Coalition governments. So there was a certain mahal, so to say. The Khalistan thing was burning in Punjab. So they said, Acha, theek hai. Now, this is another part. So there were a set of circumstances today. That is what Pakistan thinks. It may not be true, but that is what Pakistan thinks, that America is on their side and everything is hunky-dory because Trump aayega beech mein kuch karega. I very firmly believe that you can carry out operation after operation after operation. Unless they suffer loss of land, they are not going to stop. It could be along the LOC. It will probably be along the LOC. And India has done it before. I mean, my seniors are here. Ask them.
Okay.
How many times the Indian Army has gone across and taken posts of Pakistan? I mean, it's our post, it's our area, but illegally occupied by Pakistan, and we have done it. Unless they lose territory, and unless this is told to the people of Pakistan that these many 100 kilometers, because of what happened in Red Fort, you have lost. They will keep on repeating it. They must lose territory.
They must lose territory fundamentally. SP Vaid Saab and Major Jolly, let me just bring you in before I take this a little further. SP Vaid, the tragedy here in India is that the response is never a unified response. There is the opposition that is saying one thing. Even now, here, today, there are whispers that, oh, Modi, you see, all of these things only happen before elections or during elections, or phase 1, phase 2, this, that, the other. This is all time to get majorities. I mean, this is not the way, is it? Whole of nation approach, ye to hai nahi. This is not that.
Rahul, that is very unfortunate for the country that you listen to voices which actually intend to criticize Modi government and start becoming anti-country. That is very unfortunate. And I think that part I can only, like you, feel sad for the opposition's role, which should be very constructive, like you see in the other countries. Coming to your earlier question, that what options India have, I think there's an old saying that "Saamp nahi, saamp ki maa ko maro." So here, hitting terror camps is fine, but unless you hit Pakistan Army and the ISI, you are not going to achieve what you want to achieve. And the forces which are hitting Pakistan Army, you need to, I don't want to name those forces.
I understand what you're saying. You don't have to fill in the blanks. I understand what you're saying. So you're saying that we should be looking at perhaps
I think
other
India
options.
Needs,
Covert, if nothing else, even covert options, which will bleed Pakistan. Major Jolly, is there a space for that?
Absolutely. And especially in the situation we are in, we are very happy to always announce and declare on social media or in our conferences everywhere, go to war, destroy Pakistan. But as a nation, do we have appetite for war? The moment there's a little casualties, everybody starts questioning, "Arey ye kya fauj ka jahaz gir gaya? Arey kya casualty ho gaya?" Do we know how to fight? Can we take on that violence? We actually don't. We start criticizing our own forces the moment we think, oh, we suffered a casualty. That's not a nation ready to go for war. That's a military ready to go for war, but the support that is required from the country is missing. That's a government who's ready to lead the war, but that's a common consensus that is missing. Hence, I would certainly, and like a typical int man, I believe that covert ops have much more, uh, deniability, alibi, and impact if carried out properly. So rather than going for, and that is, I think, the reason, Rahul, I'll just take a second to tell you that when we were saying why we have not mentioned Pakistan till now, I think it's a very smart move. The moment we say Pakistan, it comes up with the pressure of aapne kaha tha terror attack war hai. So, everybody starts saying, no, do something. So why name them? Let's do it what we can do through other means
Okay.
and just continue playing it like that.
Well, viewers, you've heard the experts. You heard the experts, but there are other questions that I now want to pose. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for joining me. We're going to, of course, continue this conversation with some of you.